Hello, is this working? Hopefully people can hear me. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? It's been absolutely ages since I've done a live stream. I must admit I've missed it. Hello from the UK, mate. And I live almost beside Sam, says Mangle. Oh, does he really? Never seen you. Anyway, it's going to be a bit of a streaming weekend, so I'm going to do a stream today, obviously, and then I'm going to hopefully do another one of these tomorrow, all being well. And then Sunday, of course, I've got another Sam's Trains Live to do, which should be a lot of fun. It is extremely, extremely hot up here in the loft today. I mean, unbelievably so. So I'm not absolutely sure how long I'm going to stick this out, but I'll do my best and we'll stick with it as long as possible. So yes, I've got this look. It's an old air freshener bottle, just with some water in it, and it's just great. You can spray it right in your face, and it just brings a little bit of coolness to the extremely hot day. Anyway, I'm going to get started as soon as it gets to past, which was the advertised time, sorry. So if anybody is coming here spot on 1 o'clock, I don't want to shortchange them. Hello everyone, said Mr. Deltix Model Railways. Hi there, Mark Jenkins. Hey Mark, shall I add you as a moderator, Mark? Hang on. Add moderator, there we go. Everybody's normally good anyway, but just in case. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how I'm going to sound today. The heat does go to the head somewhat. I've got the fan on me and I've got my squirty bottle. So, you know, if I trip over my words and if I stop making sense, let me know, and that's probably time to go. But hopefully it won't get to that stage. Let's see who else is saying hello. I'm too shy, Sam, says Mangle. Okay. I guess I'll see you around then. I'm very well, thank you, Mark. How are you? Shout out, please, says TrainFan25 Stuart. Palankas Attila says hello. You sound okay, Sam. I sound all right now, but it's going to get hot, believe me. How exciting, a stream weekend. I know, right? I can hardly contain it. Should be good though. Should be good. I've got some interesting locos to service. It's going to be mostly, if not all, Bachmann today, and I don't think I've done much Bachmann stuff, so at least not on the servicing streams. So that should be a lot of fun. Hello GWR Will, welcome, welcome. I like trains, says Society of Young Model Enthusiasts. Blimey, don't hold back on the spacers, will you? Crikey, that's a mouthful. Hope you have a good day too, Mark. Hot as it is, although we did get some thunder and lightning this morning. Well, I didn't see any lightning, but it was definitely thunder. Blackbird, shout out please. Sam, I have a YouTube channel, it's about trains. Oh, that's the best kind. 2 streams with Sam IndyCar from mid-Ohio and BTCC from Snetterton. Wow, that's an action-packed weekend you got there. You are brave servicing in this heat, watching from the shade of the garden, Mark. That's the way to do it. Yeah, it's not pleasant up here in the loft, to say the very least. I have got a fan on me, and I've got my squirty bottle. Yep, that's going to get pulled out every couple of seconds, I would think. Right, it's 1:30, so let me reveal the first loco I'm going to service today. It's a loco that I've had for a year, but it's never, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's ever appeared, well, it's never ran in a video. I've not reviewed it, it's not been in a running session. It's absolutely awful, that is. I'm going to have to do something about that and get it in. But it's this. Ta-da! I would ask you to guess what it is, but it takes 30 seconds for the stream to come through. So I'll just tell you. It's a Bachmann J11. It's an 060 tender engine, as you can see here. Really quite a lovely thing. It's going to be a lot of fun to service this, he says, with massive amounts of irony, because it is DCC fitted, and if I want to obviously run the motor in here, I'm going to have to disconnect it from the decoder first of all. So that's not to worry about right now. I'm going to get it into its cradle to start with. And yeah, this is, as I say, it's unknown territory. I've never had this one apart before, so always a little bit nervous when you never had a certain kind of model apart before, but you know, it's a Bachmann 060 tender engine. There are a lot of them, so hopefully it won't be too difficult. Jane Clark says shout out please. There you go. It's a Fowler class. It looks like a Fowler, but it's not. It's a LNER, in fact. Right, let's take a look then. So, I wonder whether I'm going to be able to do this without removing the brake rigging. It looks like I might have to remove the brake rigging from the tender in order to get that decoder plug out. But I'm going to try my best to get away with not taking out the brake rigging on the loco, although of course if it proves to be a right pain in the neck, I'm going to just go ahead and do it. So let's try. Oh yes, it's not a very nice position, that. But we'll try and get to the pickups first of all then. Hopefully it won't be wired to the chassis. Hopefully it will just come off as a separate piece. And that's exactly what I need on a hot day like this. I don't want to be fiddling around with wires and things. But no doubt we'll get a bit of that later on. Right, how many screws is that I've taken out? This will be the 4th. So we'll see if that's loose now. If not, I've probably missed one. It doesn't feel terribly loose. There is another one there, but I think that's holding the body on. Right, let's remove the front coupling just to double check there's not one behind it. And oh, there isn't, that's interesting. So what I think I might have to do then is go ahead and take out this rear screw. That looks like that could be holding it. Very loose, that rear screw. Like I say, this has never been apart before, so that's how it came from the factory. Very, very loose, that screw. Strange. I'm glad it didn't drop out. Right, although it's not coming out very easily. I've got the magnet attached to the screwdriver to try and lift it out, which is not working. Oh yes, it's working. Okay, is it loose now? Yes, it looks a lot looser now, but I reckon it is going to have to come out of the body yeah, before I can take that out. So let me zoom out again. Zoom, 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 and I'm going to go ahead and find out how I can disconnect the loco from the tender. So first of all, as I say, the brake rigging's got to come off, which is a pain, and the thing is I haven't reviewed this already, so it's going to have to go back on. Otherwise it's not an accurate review if it's had bits taken off it. Right, now I'm going to have to be careful with that decoder plug, because as you can see it's right there and there are pickups surrounding it. So I have got a pair of pliers, tweezers, like this, which are quite good for removing plugs, but I don't think it's going to help too much with this one, although I will try. No, I don't think it's... Oh, no, oh. I shouldn't have been so scornful of that. It has actually worked very nicely. Okay, so that's that out. I don't see any more screws. Oh yes, there will be one. There'll be this one as well to remove. I'll tell you what, some of the brake rigging from the loco has already started to pop out. As you can tell, I am being deliberately very, very careful with this. I mean, it's alright once you've serviced a loco once or twice and you know how it all goes together and everything, but for the first time it's always worth just being a little bit extra careful. Right. There we go. Try and get the loco body out of the equation if I can. Yeah, there we go. Let's have a quick look at the body. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's left its coal load in the thing, but that's alright. Because the chassis felt extremely light. Am I taking this out the right way? No, that was right. Oh yes, it's quite a heavy body that. I reckon that must be die cast. Yeah, it's a die cast running board. Right, put that out the way then, where it's going to be safe. What train is that, says Mark Jenkins? It is J11, I think. I hope I haven't got that wrong. Right, so now it's out, I should be able to take the pickup plate off, for want of a better term. It's one of these absolute pains to get out. And I think I'm going to struggle with this, something tells me. There we go, got it. Ooh, it is wired. That's a pain. But look at this, you don't often get this from Bachmann. There are actually bearings in the chassis, which is lovely. Normally it just goes straight onto the chassis, so that's good. Good marks there, Bachmann. Okay, so a little bit of oil on the axles then. I won't try and get these out to clean them because it looks like more faff than it's worth. So there we go, a bit of oil on the gears. Quite a lot of gears in this one. Looks borderline overkill, that does, but no, I think it's alright. And while the pickup plate is out, stay, I'm going to give those a quick clean. Yeah, here's another thing, I was servicing some locos this morning and virtually all of this bottle of IPA evaporated in the heat. I accidentally left the lid off while I had my lunch. It was 3/4 empty when I came back up. Man, it's hot. Right, just clean the pickups then. I apologise if you can't really see this very well, but I promise that is what I'm doing. But like I say, she's not actually running any videos, she's only run for my personal pleasure. So it's not going to be filthy, but it's been a year, so fresh lubrication, etc. You know, it's worth doing. And I think we can go ahead and put that back on. It's just going to be a pain to get this back on, because it sort of, you won't see this, but it sort of hooks over at the front, and then the back sits down, but of course at the back, that's where all the wires are, so, Right, well I think I've got it in, but it doesn't seem to want to go down. And I'm reluctant to shove it, but I might have to. Not going down. Do you know this one's a little bit awkward? What's going on here? Again, I don't want to be too forceful with it, but if it does need a little bit of a push to get it down, then that's fine. No, you reckon I think something's not gone in right here. Let's have a look. Ah yes, right, that explains it. As you can see, the front bearings here have popped out. I don't know how, but yeah, they need to go back in for sure before I move on. A little bit unfortunate because I've just oiled it, so I'm going to get oily fingers straight away, but that's what happens when you're doing these servicings. Right, let's get these back in. Well, at least there's nothing more serious wrong. I mean, this is just an inconvenience, and that's about as far as it goes. Right, so I've got to be extra careful not to dislodge that next time then. Let's try again. Aha, much, much better. Okay, nice. So, just trying to figure out which screws came from where. Very, very, very tiny screws, these. I bet it'd be easy to lose them. Right, these go back in. Only very loosely until they're all in, and then I'll tighten them all up. I'm off to work now, says R.A. Marigold. Very good so far, thanks for sharing, no problem. Have a good day at work. Hopefully it's not as hot where you are. Now, I've noticed that the brake rigging has started to sort of shed off this, which isn't great, so I'm going to have to spend some time putting that back on properly afterwards, but I'm not going to do it now, because I'm still messing around there. Okay, that's 3 screws back in. I am hoping they're all in the right place. I think they are. What's everybody been up to then? Any plans for the weekend? I'm going to be streaming most of the weekend, so that's basically all my plans gone. But no, I like streaming. It's a lot of fun. Right, that's back in. That looks good. Shout out please Sam, says BR the Rascal. Does a stream like this count for a super chat for the Ginty? Yes, it does if you want to. Thank you very much. The LMB channel, very true. Right, let's get this thing tested. So I've got enough screws on the base now. Did I tighten them up? Again, in all this heat, I've completely forgotten, but just to be on the safe side, I think I did tighten them up. Yeah, they feel tight. Right, so I'm going to reattach the brake rigging, just so that it doesn't cause the mechanism to jam up when I power it up, because that would not be good. In fact, that would suck on a virtually brand new model. So again, maximum care here. There we go. And let's just flip this over before I do. And have a quick look at the motor. I'm not actually going to put any oil on the brush end of the motor because it just causes problems. And you know, if it starts to run badly, I will. But yeah, there's no point, is there? Right, so I'm just going to expose the gears and things on this top end and give the front of the motor a little bit of oil because I think it will be glad of that. You always find that the Backman models don't come with an awful lot of lubricant on them. The Hornby ones often do, although maybe perhaps not so much these days. Hornby 10 years ago used to put a lot of lubricant on. I got, let's see here, what was it? There was a model I was servicing yesterday which just was covered in lubricant. And it isn't the kind of lubricant I use, so I know it wasn't me. But it was just swimming in it, and it wasn't running too great either because it was just totally swamped in lubricant. But it was that sort of thick, really gloopy stuff, which I suppose must be a good lubricant when it's new, but being 10 years old, it was very sort of, I don't know, it had a lot of viscosity to it. Viscosity, I can't say it. You know what I mean, it was highly sort of syrup-like, I don't know. Again, it's the heat talking, not me. Right, so that looks all good. We'll give this a little bit of a try then. I'm just going to flip it over. I think I will just hold it with the helping hand, because again, if it flips over onto its side while it's running, that ain't going to be too good. So I'm going to just clamp it in the helping hand. Oops, flipped it over anyway. It's all right. There we go. Just hold it lightly. There we go, and a little bit of oil then on the rods. Now obviously I can't power this through the wheels because I've unplugged the decoder well, I've unplugged the tender, so that isn't going to work. So I am going to have to just power it directly, the motor that is. So let me move this somewhere where you'll see it. And now it's just a case of finding where I can plug these to get power to the motor. So you're probably not going to see a great deal here, but I'll try and tell you what I'm doing. So there are some little sort of suppression capacitors. Let's do this first. So I'm going to try and get these clips onto those. Oh, in fact, no, there's a... Oh, no, there isn't. Tricky. Right, that's one on. Where's the other? Oh, no, it's popped off again. Oh, this one's going to be annoying. Go on, hold on. It's only got to go on for 20 seconds while I... Well, maybe a little more, but just while I do the wheel cleaning. Right, the trouble is I'm not going to get this back upside down again without them popping off. So they haven't got a very good purchase on there, but they are in. So, I know the camera angle's not brilliant, but it is working. Okay, I think the secret here is going to be do it quick before they come off. So I'm giving that about 7 volts there, which is about a medium speed. So let's clean the wheels. And this one does have tender pickups, incredibly. And it wasn't that expensive. I'll have to look up how much it cost me, but it was less than £100. In fact, it would have been quite a bit less than that for me to have bought it. So very impressed with it, to be honest. Mechanism's all right, I suppose. Pretty standard, isn't it? Oh, Ollie Turf, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. He says, love the stream, Sam. Keep up the good work. Well done, you. Thank you. You're entered for the Ginty. I will make sure you're added to the list. And if anyone else wants to send a super chat, you will be entered for the Ginty in this stream. And then, of course, you've got Sunday stream, well, or tomorrow's stream, I guess, to enter. And then the next stream after that will be the giveaway. You can still enter during that one, but only through the first portion or whatever. So as expected, the wheels on this aren't looking too dirty. I'm glad I have cleaned them because there's a bit of grime coming off. Obviously this loco has been run in on the layout, so she's done, well, up to about an hour's worth of running, so that's probably why they're a little bit dirty, these wheels, but not bad. There we go, just doing it again. Yeah, no dirt coming off this time, so that's a good sign. Yeah, very impressed with this. It's got all the proper bearings on it, tender pickups. It's really not bad, is it, this? The Bachmann J11. Okay, right, I've noticed I've got the coal load again. I guess it's one of those coal loads that just won't stay in place. Put that to one side then. Okay, I'm just trying to remember if there's anything else I've taken off this before I put the bodywork back on, but no, I think that's probably it. So very carefully then, let's get all these wires out the way. And now we've got the almightily fun task of trying to get the body back on without pulling this plug out. So let's do that. There's the body. Let's zoom out for this because I'm going to be all over the place. Let me just adjust the focus for you. Autofocus, manual focus. Again, I don't leave it on autofocus because it's a very old camera, this one, and it tends to drift. So I tend to get it in focus and then lock it in place. Right. So the thing is, I've got to get this drawbar here to fit in place, and that's the difficult part. As long as it's in place, it should, in theory. Oh, hang on. Oh no, yeah, I thought it had to just go over the body, but it's got to slot through a little hole just there, and then the loco goes in. At least there's no lugs to worry about with this loco. It just sits in place and then you screw it down. It's not going in though. Why the devil not? Well, that's annoying. Oh. See, again, I don't want to shove it because it's going to break something, so you've got to ease it in somehow. Can anybody think why this might not be going in? Other than just to spite me, of course. Right, let me just double check. I haven't bent any of these capacitors out. The wires are tucked back. Let me just double check. Took that wire out the way. Yep, the wires are out the way. Interesting. It's quite a tight fit into this chassis. Oh no, okay. So I took it out, put it back in again, and it's gone in perfect. So, yeah, throw the hands in the air with that one. No idea. But it's in, that's the main thing. So there we go, front screw again, just loosely until they're both in. Another good thing about this is that the rear screw doesn't have wires all over it. The rear screw is quite nice and accessible. Sometimes with these, especially ones with wires going to the tender, there's just wires all over that screw and it's an absolute nightmare to access them. But not so with this one, so that's another thumbs up. But yeah, reasonably impressed with this. I thought it was a cheapo model when I bought it, but it's not really. Right, trying to get these brake riggings back in, but it's, oh no, there we go. Yeah, that front one's popping out all the time, and I forgot to put the front coupling on, so it's going to pop out again, I bet. Go on. Yeah, I'm going to have to pop it out, there's no space. Honestly. Right, put that back in, hopefully for the last time. And then all that is left to do, I guess, is clean the tender wheels and plug the tender back into the loco, otherwise it ain't going anywhere. So, what shall I do first? Ooh, we've got this pickup here that's snagged slightly on this plug. Oh, that's not nice. Let's just carefully get that back in place. There we go. Ooh, that is not nice. Right, so that answers the question then. Plug first. So, I'm gonna, ideally I'd take the wheels out. I think with the, what was it, the City Class, City of Birmingham, I did that. But I think that's a bit of a faff, to be honest. So I'm just gonna shut up for a minute and try and get these in. I've got it in, luckily. Just shove it in place, ram it home. There we go, click. Make sure the wires are out the way. Yeah, why on earth would you put the plug halfway through the tender like that? Backman, Backman, Backman. And then of course you've got these wires dangling down towards the track, which again is not ideal, but never mind, we'll see if it works. Right, clean the tender wheels then. There we go. Again, not much dirt coming off these, which is good, very good. Yeah, that's, you know, sometimes it's an absolute nightmare to service a loco and you can't wait till it's done. This one's not been the easiest in the world, but I must say it's quite a pleasure to work on. Not bad at all. Sam, where in the UK is the train fair? Well, that depends. There are all kinds of train fairs going on. There aren't many going on near me at the moment, but if you look it up online, you'll find a list of the local ones. Obviously, you want to find out where the local ones are, because you ain't going to want to travel far, not for a train fair. Right, let's get this tested then. Let me go down to the front. Now, as I say, this is a DCC fitted loco. Oh, hang on. I'll tell you what I have forgotten to do. I didn't put the tender brake rigging back on. And sometimes, if I really can't be bothered, I'll leave it off. But since this one hasn't been reviewed yet, I won't do that. So, let's get this back in. It's very sort of flimsy brake rigging, actually. I'm quite hesitant to put a lot of pressure onto this. But if it breaks, then I've had my mind made up for me and I'll have to take it off. But yeah, it's going in alright. So that's the back one. Next one in. I'm sorry, I'm not being too vocal while I'm doing this because it takes pretty much all my concentration. Okay, front one. Where does that go? I can't see the hole for it. Oh, yes I can. It's higher up than I thought. Go on, go in your little hole. Keep your thoughts to yourself, Mark. Right. I am having trouble getting this front piece in. Oh, no, I'm not. Right, thank goodness for that. I thought that was going to be the rest of the stream, me fiddling around with that. What's Mark saying? You don't want to travel far for a train fair. I travelled 4 or 5 hours by CSR just to spend most of the day at the East Lancs. Well, that's a lot of dedication from you, Mark. But I personally won't go if it's not reasonably close, except for maybe Worley. Well, even Worley's not that far away from me. But yeah, I would be willing to make the trip for a big one. Right. Now, very hopefully this is going to work all right. If I remember correctly, this is one that really does not work well on DC. And I've just noticed that the tender is a little bit tight on here, so I'm just going to readjust that. In fact, I think this is one of those Backman decoders that goes backwards, whichever way you put it on the track. So I'm not expecting this to perform well on the track, but as long as it works, then it's a thumbs up. And I guess I'll run it on DCC next time I get the DCC controller switched on. So there it goes onto the track. I've just seen that bit of brake rigging has come out again at the front, but it doesn't look like it's detrimental, and it's proved multiple times that it isn't going to stay put. Okay, let's just see if this actually moves. It might not. Oops, I haven't got the tender on properly. That was smart. Let's get it off the points. There we go. So there we go. Oh, it is going forwards. Oh, it's working all right today. Unless this isn't the loco I thought. Well, somehow servicing it has cured it of its strange ways. Look at that. It's pretty good. It's good and smooth. So yeah, look out for that. I will do a review on that at some point. I've no idea why I haven't already, actually. I suppose it's one of the potentially boring ones, just, you know, your sort of standard black 060. There's a lot of them. But no, I think that one will definitely make for a good review. Right, so I'm just going to go to my servicing book. I'm going to give that its first tick, and I'll just put not too bad. I always like to write some notes. So there we go, and this is for August. So that's August 18. I'll schedule it again for August 19, and that's a tick. Right, do you want to hear what's coming next then? Ooh, you'll like this one. This is a nice one. So it's an LBSC engine. It's going to be the E4. Lovely 062 locomotive. I can't remember whether I have serviced this one before. I'll soon tell you. The E4. No, this one has not been serviced before. So this is going to be yet more unknown territory. Man, I should never have done this on stream, should I? Because if I make a mistake and break something, that's going to be my credibility ruined. But no, we'll go ahead and try it. Hi Kian Koch, GTX 522. Hello to you as well. I'm going to watch the DJMJ94 review soon after the stream. Ooh, brace yourself. I am not a big fan of the DJMJ94. It's irredeemably bad in my opinion. I suppose for very, very, very specific set of circumstances, you could say it's an okay model. If it's one that you want to destroy for fun, for example, then it's a great model. But yeah, apart from that, I wouldn't recommend buying it, but watch the review by all means. Right, so here it is, the E4. Look at the size of it. It's huge for a 062. Not looking forward to this. I bet this is going to be a fiddly one. Normally they are. The Class 5 tank is a bit of a fiddly little bugger to get to part. But never mind, let's try this. I'm going to be very careful with this cradle because there is a whistle on top of that cab, so I don't want to be pushing down too hard. Right, I think first job then is going to be to release the chassis. And I think what I might do to be safe, just on the safe side, is remove the couplings just in case there's a screw underneath them. Because the last thing I want to do is pull the chassis out without all the screws being undone. And yes, indeed, there is a screw hiding underneath there, so I will take the back one out as well. Notice it's got the big Hornby coupling on it now. Yes, and there is another screw there, so I'm glad I did that. Please shout out, said Tudor Manhole. Do they have manholes in the Tudor times? I am not sure. Right, so options then. I could go to get the instructions, perhaps, and find out how the body comes off, or I prefer just to go ahead and try and get this thing apart. So I think it's a safe bet to assume this back screw needs to come out. And if it is, right, well it's quite a short screw, so I don't know if it is actually going into the body or not. So we'll see, but I'll take that out. I reckon this one here will have to be a body screw because it's sunk underneath the pickup plate, so I'll try and get that out if possible. I don't know if that's going to actually come out past the pickups, but I'll get my magnet and try. Come on. Come on. Oh, yep. Got it. Right, and potentially then this front one will need to come out as well. So let's try that. Just there. And I'm going to try now very, very carefully to lift this out. And hopefully it will. No, that actually feels... It does actually feel as though it's still very much screwed in. Now I can see some more screws on the sides here, but I think that's holding the body together. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the rest of these base screws and see if any of these, by chance, go through to the body. Trouble is, I don't really like taking all of them out because then the thing falls to pieces. But that's all right. In fact, there might be this one here. There's another screw at the back that might even hold it on. If this doesn't, oh, hang on, yeah, that's coming off now. So I might access the pickups and things first. Yeah, might as well do. Okay, let's have a look. Is this wired on? Oh no, I reckon it's just the sanding pipes. So if I just ease this forwards, there we go. Right, excellent. Well, well done, Bachmann, for not using wires on this base plate, because if you did that, I think I would probably just jump down the loft ladder. Right, so the body is now loose, notably, and it looks as though it was indeed that screw that was holding it on, so that's fine. So since it's just an 060, well, effectively it's just an 060 with the wheels, I should be able to just take those out. In fact, no, I'm not going to. I thought they would slide out like they did with the J11. They're not just sliding out, so I'm going to leave those as they are. So I'm just going to give the wheel set a little bit of oil. Again, from Bachmann, look here, we have got actual bearings. Let's get this focused. You see, yeah, you can see that. Bearings all along there. Fantastic quality. Again, not too much of an expensive loco, and it does make a difference with the performance. Okay. Right, I'm just double checking that screw wasn't loose. So, excellent. Yeah, really like this. So, there's a lot of gears, strangely. Bachmann always seem to go and over-engineer things slightly, but no, it does run all right. It is a noisy one, this, and all of the gears are probably a good reason for that. So, a little bit of oil on those gears. I will clean up the pickups as well. Let's just show you those. Yep, there they are. The pickups actually look spotless, and the E4 has run quite a lot for me. She's been in, well, I bet at least 5 videos, including her review, so she has been well run, and I must say I can't see any dirt at all. So that's good. I'm pleased with that. Seems to be a good clean runner. Make sure the contacts are clean. I already cleaned this one, but that's all right. Okay, the only faff is, of course, the sanding pipes. They do get in the way a little bit, so it's going to make this very difficult to get back in place. But you know, it is what it is. I'm just trying to find out where these little thingies go. I think it's got to slot in there somehow. You know, I'm not absolutely sure about that. It must just go under there. That's odd. I can't actually see how that goes on. I tell you what, I'm just going to leave it for now, and we'll sort that in just a second. Right. So, I think that can just sit down. Sanding pipes go to the side for the time being, and then I'll lift them up. It's just these two here, so I'll lift those up. There we go, that's one. They are good and solid, these, so they haven't broken off, which is good. And that is sitting down very, very nicely. So it was this one here, that was one of the body screws, and I think the rest, double check, the rest can go back in. So it's not the very front one, but the one just behind. I would have sworn that that one there was a body screw, but apparently it's not. Then again, if the body doesn't come off when I try and get it back off, then we know that that was not true. But no, that's still loose. Okay, next one. You want this screwed in place, otherwise it will come off and annoy you while you're trying to get to the motor. There's not really much to be gained by accessing the motor these days, but I will just give the gears motor end a little bit of oil. Still can't see where this little bugger goes. Actually, I think I might just leave it off. Right, so out it comes. Again, a really light chassis. There we go, that's the body. Most of that is made of metal, I think. Put it against your lips. Yep, it's really quite a nice thing. I think we've got some of the best Bachmann quality locos on display today, actually. Very impressed. I know it was austerity, but I thought that round was more efficient for the shape for the boiler. How much have I missed, says Harry. The J11 is all you've missed. And now we're on to the E4. Right. I wonder if it's any more obvious how those little whiskery things go on. Right, okay. So the brushes are at this end of the motor, which again is smart. Hornby haven't quite mastered that yet, but I think Bachmann have. Obviously you don't want the brushes to be on the worm end because you oil the worm, and that oil has a tendency to get inside the motor, and if it goes on the brushes it causes all that horrible flashing, and yeah, you have to strip the motor down. I actually had to do that yesterday with the Bachmann, oh, we're out of focus, I do apologise. It was the Bachmann N class. Absolute nightmare to service it, and the motor started smoking and puffing and things, which actually I noticed that last time I ran her. So I stripped the motor down, which was an absolute nightmare. I never want to do that again, and I give it a clean up and it's good as new, I'm happy to say. But I shouldn't have to do that with this because it's, as I say, it's brand new and I haven't had to service it yet. So a bit of oil on the worm and everything, and there we are. Put the cover back on. This one's good because it has got the cover over the gears and things. Some Bachmann models don't, and you know, I don't suppose there's anything wrong with that, but it's just nice to have all the gears covered up, isn't it? Especially if you're a naughty boy and you run it on the carpet like I do, but you know, it's neither here nor there. Right, I'm just looking to see where I can power this. I'll have one more look at these. What are these things? Are they guard irons, I think? Something like that. There's just no way they're going to fit under there. Oh, I see. I think it goes on like that. Somehow. Have I got them in the right way? I don't like putting something together unless it's complete, you know. But yes, I see. No idea if I've got them in the right way or not. Oh no, they're not in the right way. They need to face down for a start. Honestly, what am I like? Actually, we're going to have to try and take that out, and I will take off the bottom plate again and put that in the right way now that I know how it goes in. But for now, I'm going to get this powered up if possible. So let's grab the pickups, the helping hand. Again, that's the heat talking. It is hot up here. Okay, and it's just a case now, once again, of finding somewhere to power this. So let's try. A little bit here. Got that one on easy. Very easy. Actually, I suppose I could just, if I can't get this one on. Oh, I have. I was going to say I could just hold it in place. Don't really like to do that, but I would if I had to. Right, are you ready? Let's see if this thing works. In fact, before I test it, I'll put a bit of oil on the com rods, just to be on the safe side. I sometimes forget to do that, but you have to really, because you think about it. Without these con rods, you've only got one driven wheel. All that power is being transmitted genuinely through those rods. So if they're not lubricated, they are liable to wear. There we go. The magic 7 volts is normally about right for a Bachmann. That gets it going nice and briskly like that. And let's have a look at the wheels, see how dirty they were. People saying, see more butts. K2, I would run away. I also might get an LBSC E4, says the little furnace K2. Well, based on this, I think if my notes are correct, this is the first time I've ever taken this one to pieces, and I must say it's impressive. Again, it's got bearings in it, which you can tell because it's, I don't know, the wheels don't seem to jutter around so much when you put your cotton bud against it. And it will make the model last so much longer, having proper bearings in there. And I think it's only really Bachmann that don't do that as a matter of course. There's still a lot of their models that don't have the proper bearings. I don't know if their latest models have been without them. I'm just trying to think. I think a lot of their latest ones have actually been updated, which is as it should be, you know. There's no sense. I mean, those, you know, those A1s and the A2s, they cost £180 and they haven't got proper bearings in them. I mean, what are you playing at? It's crazy. Unless, of course, the most recent versions have, in which case I will apologise. But I don't think they do. Okay, well, those wheels weren't very dirty. Again, all that TV suppression, I suppose, will stop the sparks and things, if that is what it does. I know that it does that for the motor. I don't suppose it does it on the track as well, between the wheels and the tracks. Right, so that's quite nice. That's worked. Let's see. Like I say, I am going to take off the base plate again. Well, I'm not going to take it off, but I'm going to unscrew it and lift it up so that I can put those guard irons back in. Am I right calling those guard irons? Just call me Henry, my real name, says the little furnace K2. Well, I'll try and remember. There's a lot of names to remember on here, but I'll do my best. I don't see any reason why I can't work on this now from inside the body, so lower that back down. Oh, that was nice. That went down very easily. Right, I know this is a pain. I'm sorry for everyone tearing their hair out. I'll try and do this quick. But if possible, I'll try and put a model back together completely. Right, can I lift that up now? Yeah. And I'll tell you what though, it's a bit of a pain. Oh no, it's gone in. Right, I'm going to have to hold that in place and screw it in, because otherwise it's going to run away with me. Oh, come on. I had the screw in place and then the magnet on the screwdriver pulled it off. Go on, stay in place, stay in place. Right, that looks good. Guard irons in the right way, anybody? Anybody know? To be honest, who cares? Brownie points to anyone who spots that they're on wrong in a video. To be honest, I'm not bothered, as long as they're in. And I tell you what, if they're in the wrong way, next year I'll add a note and I'll turn them round. No doubt they'll drop out again next time. Right, make sure those are all in nice and tight. A lot of screws to this one though, don't you think? An awful lot. Oh, that's not the right one. That one goes there. This one is a really tiny screw. Look at that. Absolutely tiny. And yet that one is the one of the ones, I think, that's holding the body on. Well, I might be wrong. Right, so last screw and then I'll put the couplings back on. I mustn't forget that this time, because all the time, I tell you what, every single month I will put a loco down onto the track and then I'll find, well, I'll do my servicing, so I'll service 30 engines or whatever, and then I'll look across the bench and see a set of couplings, and then I've got to go and find out which loco I've not returned the couplings to. Absolute nuisance. Anyway, ta-da, all finished. Let's get her onto the track. Fairly confident this one's going to work, but of course we haven't tested whether the pickups are making contact yet, but they almost always are with ones like this, so fairly confident. Also, Sam, I watched the 060 running session. It was great, says Henry. Thank you very much. I did enjoy that, but my favourite ever to film has been the one I put out on Wednesday, the NRM. I absolutely love filming that one. In fact, I've already beaten it though. I say that's my favourite. That is my favourite of the ones out there. I'm not going to give away anything about the one I'm talking about, but there's another that I filmed which I loved even more, and I think I can't wait for that one to go out. Anyway, yeah, that is spotless. That is perfect. There we go. Bit of high speed. Let's get her into the middle and slow it right down. She's never actually been a one for great slow speed running, but that is pretty good now. So yeah, that shows you what a good lubrication can do. Right, I'm on a roll. We've done 2 in about 40 minutes. That's 20 minutes a piece. That's not bad. That's not bad. I probably don't want to be going much longer than sort of 3:30 today. I'm going to go downstairs and have me some nice video game time, but that's over an hour away. Right, so let me give that one a tick. Yeah, very nice. I'm going to put, yeah, this video, this stream is a good advert for Bachmann. Some really, in fact, I didn't realise Bachmann made such good quality mechanisms as those. Right, so that's the E4, very, very nice. Now we've got a very, very different Bachmann loco. Are you ready? It is Spencer. And I dare say this one won't be such a nice mechanism. The Bachmann Spencer. It's an A4, of course. You might imagine that it's the A4 chassis from the main Bachmann range A4, but it's not. Let me try and find him. Come on, Spencer. So this is one for the kids. Was anybody broken up, by the way, for the summer holidays? I know our local schools broke up this week. We should do one for NRM Shildon, says Harry. Yes, a lot of people mention that. I think that's a good idea. Right, I'll tell you what, folks, I'm not looking forward to this one. As a matter of course, I don't enjoy servicing the Bachmann Thomas range. Never mind, never mind. Right, let's zoom out a little bit. So first things first, we've got to find out how to get the darn body off. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let me get my paintbrush. At least I've reviewed this one, so if I completely destroy it, it doesn't appear in any more videos, put it that way. Right, screw at the front, screw at the back. Let's take off the rear pony. I broke up with my girlfriend, if that's what you mean. Oh dear, sorry to hear that. Spencer, what the? I know. I don't think this is going to have proper bearings on it, I'm going to say that right now. Oh, that screw flew away. I've got it though. But yes, I've got to take that off because there's a body screw around the back. So put that safe. And hopefully I won't have to take off the front bogie, hopefully. 2 body screws. It's looking good so far, I must say. It looks like a reasonably intelligent design so far. No doubt I'll eat my words later on, but for the time being, it looks okay. Is that coming loose? Oh, it is hooked in as well. Oh, interesting. I wonder if I shouldn't have taken that screw out. Well, who cares? It's out now. My goodness, look at that for a chassis. Crikey. This is just a massive block of metal. Man, what on earth, Backman? What on earth? I guess that's for the eye mechanism, but the trouble is the eyes are all the way over here and the motor's all the way over here, so you've got a gigantic gear train. So that's why this is such a noisy model. Never mind. Right, first things first then. Oh, I tell you what, this is not an easy model to access. This is going to have to come off first. This is the first time I've ever had this open, so. So that's got to come out the way, which gives me access to this screw. And I'm thinking I'll do this first so that I can get the pickup plate off a bit easier. Right, let's see if this big thing will come off. Oh, look at it, man, look at it, it's crazy. Just one gear sticking out the bottom, covered in oil, strangely. Right, I'm going to have to find a cloth or something, aren't I, to mop up some of this oil. Right, bear with me, I'll see if I've got a towel, but I ideally wanted something small. I'll tell you what, I've got some kitchen roll here, or toilet roll. Always handy to have a toilet roll. I just realised that what I said sounded slightly dubious. But no, it's great to have a toilet roll around so that you can mop up some oil and things. Look at this, it's absolutely glistening with oil. Look, can you see that? Why is there so much oil? Like I say, you can't blame this on me because I've never had this one up to pieces. Mop that up. I'll apply some of my own later on, but absolutely drenched. One thing I do like though is the length of these wires. Look at all this, we've got loads and loads of space to play with now. Cool, so let's take off the base and we'll have a look at the state of these bearings. I bet you any money there aren't any proper bearings on here. In fact, I won't bet you any money because I don't have a lot. But I will bet you, I don't know, I'll bet you a request that this won't work. This won't have bearings. I don't know why I'm worried because none of the others have had them, but we'll see. Right, let's have a look. Is that all the screws? I think it is. So let's lift this out. Okay, I was right, no bearings. As you can see, the pickup plate is screwed in. Again, look at all the lubricant on there, it's crazy. Mind you, it needs a lot because it hasn't got any proper flipping bearings, has it? Right, let's clean this off as much as I can. I always have a habit of removing the old lubricant. I mean, it's only potentially a year or two old, so it's probably got some more life in it yet, but I just like putting my own in. So there's that. Let me clean out these. I'll tell you what, not good. Not only has it not got separately fitted bearings, the bearings in the chassis are square. Can you see that? Square bearings. I think Bachmann should be ashamed of themselves for this, because these are extremely expensive. Which on the one hand is bad, because these are supposed to be kids' toys, and kids aren't going to be able to afford $120 for something that is so poorly made that it's going to need this kind of, you know, attention every single year. And what kid is going to be able to have the dexterity to take this thing apart every year and, you know, make sure nothing's getting too badly worn and everything? It's shameful, isn't it? A real shame, because it's a great looking model and it runs well as well, considering. But no, not a fan of that. To be fair though, look at that, that does seem to go around quite nice. Square bearings, that's where Hornby got the idea from. Yeah, I know, I don't know who started it, but they should be ashamed of themselves. Tell you what we'll do, we will take apart the chassis block and see what's inside. It's a recipe for disaster, because it'll probably all fall to bits on me, but I'm going to do it because I'm interested. Right, there's lubricant even on the pickups. Look at that, looks like I've just been digging in my ear with it, doesn't it? It's gross. Right, clean the pickups. They didn't look too dirty, but I will clean them. Well, they are a little bit dirty. Fair bit of cack coming off those. Yeah, I'll tell you what, the Hornby Thomas & Friends range is infinitely better quality. Cough, Hornby 14XX. Yes, indeed. Let's never speak of that again. Right, this is not good. I hate putting these back together. Right, because the pickups sort of, for some reason, they reach all the way down to the other side of the wheel, which means that you've got these great big spindly pickups to try and manoeuvre back in place. Again, how kids are ever supposed to service these, I had no idea. Absolutely no idea. I'm struggling. Right, screws back. To be honest, we'll just have to hope this works again, because it's a real jigsaw puzzle. Again, these are obviously designed to be disposable, aren't they? Because there's no way that kids, or even the parents, are going to be able to take these apart and troubleshoot. And again, £100 model, or whatever this cost, probably a bit less than that, is not a disposable price, is it? Ooh, very dubious, very dubious. Right. Make sure those are all screwed in nicely. Still going around okay? Yeah, it doesn't go around as easy now the pickups are on there. Right, now I'm fascinated to see what's inside this chassis block. I would not recommend doing this at home if I were you, but I'm going to, just because, like I say, I've done the review of him. I don't expect it's going to destroy him, but it might. Right, let's see what's inside here. The answer is going to be a lot of gears, but I'm going to find out for sure. Right, let's get these screws out. Again, this is most likely not designed to be taken apart. Tell you what, they're not going around very easy, these screws. I'm getting them out, but only just. Let's get that one out. That one's not coming out. And I'll tell you what, this one here is virtually unscrewed anyway. And that one is. Look at that. Did you see? I'm not putting any pressure onto that at all to unscrew it. There we go. So they're not even screwed together properly. Look at that. Absolutely no torque on those at all. I don't know why. Maybe they don't. I don't know. You would think with a mechanism like this, the chances of vibration, loosening screws, are quite high. So, man, this is a big thing. Right, I'll just get the magnet, see if I can't coax some of these out. If not, I'll just have to lift it up and hope they don't fly everywhere. Again, there's so many screws in this, I think if one of them's missing, it's not going to matter, but I don't really want to put things together without all their screws. No, that's not coming out. That one is. Jolly good. So it's just that one. Come on. Don't be the only screw left in. No, it's really not coming out, that. Let's see if I can get it apart without lifting that off. Let's try. Got to be careful, because if it goes with a jolt, all the gears that are no doubt inside are going to come bursting out. It is coming, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming. Oh, my goodness. It looks like some kind of, it looks like something from a horror film, doesn't it? It looks like it's covered in guts or something. That's why it costs £100. Absolutely over-engineered to hell. If the motor was at this end, you wouldn't have to have all these gears, because they're all, well, they are stepping down, so at least they're not all the same ratio. I'm not even going to attempt to remove some of this lubricant, because it's absolutely swimming in it, absolutely swimming. Man, what a sight that is, what a sight. And thank you very much, Noah Baylor. He says, I love your videos. Well, thank you very much, you're very kind. I'm astounded, I'm absolutely astounded that all of this is inside. Right, well, since I'm inside, let's give it a bit of oil. You only need to oil those two, really, because it's only that gear that goes to the mechanism. Only one gear coming from the motor, though, which is good. Should reduce wear. Put a bit of oil on these. And of course, this is the little device here that shifts the eyes left and right. Fascinating, really interesting, that. Right. Well, let's try and get this beast back on. That's the other side of it, if you're interested. Man, I'm amazed by that. The complexity there. Right. Just trying to see where these wires need to go. And I think they go like that. There's two little slots. Right. Gears made from jelly. I know. Those gears look like biscuits. Oh, not the kind you'd want to eat. I mean, I think people would go slightly crazy if I dismantled a model on stream and then proceeded to eat it. I mean, yeah, if you've got any models like this, just don't eat them, for goodness sake, whatever you do. That lubricant is probably rather poisonous as well, although it shouldn't be if it's on a kid's toy, but who knows, who knows. Right, all the screws are going back in okay. I'll tell you what, we'll try and power this up before I put it back together. And yet, this whole thing, this entire assembly is held on with one screw. And it's just there at the back. One screw and a lug. It's madness. It's cool though. I mean, I'm kind of half in admiration and half in shock at the moment, I think. Right. Eats gears. Lubricant looks like jelly. Yeah, it looks like jelly. Right, I'm going to power this up. And you'll actually see here how the eye mechanism works. Assuming it works. If it doesn't work, we'll cut this off. We'll go for a break. And I'll pretend it never happened. Right, a bit of power. It is working. Right, let's get it up to 7 volts. Right. So there you go, you've got the bottom gear there turning, as you'd expect. That's what goes to the wheels. And then you've got this. You see it going left to right? So those 80 gears are achieving that. Is it worth it? I mean, the moving eyes are cool, but man, must have cost a lot of money for that. Right, well, it's working. So let's take these off. And now we've got to lug it back together. It is a metal chassis though, I'm pleased about that. Right, how the devil does this go together? Right, so it lugs in at the front. Oh, you can't see this. Let me move into shot. So there's a little lug under there, can you see it? That sits under there. I think, I've not done this before. And then, that should sit down there. Go on, sit down. Oh, it's not going down for some reason. There's a little slot that it's supposed to sit in. Yeah, it's definitely got to go further down. I wonder if these screws need tightening. Because weirdly, the slot, this little thing, can you see this square? That is made up of the two halves of that block, so if they're not screwed together properly they won't fit. The trouble is I don't want to be rounding these screws off. It's actually not perfectly married together, which is a bit worrying. It's very worrying. But the thing works. No, it does need to screw in a bit further, I reckon. Okay, fine. Let's see if we can do it. Yeah. So if I push that together. Oh, again, dubious quality. Things should go together a bit better than this, you would think. Trouble is, I'm a bit sweaty. I'm not getting great purchase on it. Let's see if I can get this other screwdriver in. No, I think it's a bit too tight. Well, they've got to go in tighter, otherwise, you can see this? There's a bit of a gap. If I squeeze it very, very, very hard, they do go together. You know what? I bet that's why these top screws were so badly screwed in. Because I noticed those top three were all very lightly screwed together. I bet you that's why. Tell you what, I'm going to unscrew those a little bit more. Let's unscrew everything. See if I can't get this back in. I knew this was a bad idea. Right. Oh, I don't want to take him out. So I wonder if that's why. I think if these top screws here, 1, 2, 3, were all very loose, and I wonder if that's so that the bottom half can be clamped together better. Yeah, I bet that's why. Right, let's try and get this in. Because that one was remarkably tight. Yeah. I think we're onto something. Tighten it up. Tighten this one up. Again, my hands are dead sweaty because it's so hot. Okay, and that one. Let's see if that's better. It's still got a bit of a gap in it, but I think that's just because it's badly made. Yep, that's it. So, let's find out which screw went where. It was, I believe, that one. And then I'll tighten those screws up that I loosened. What a terrible, terrible design. I did wonder, you know, I did actually remark at how badly screwed in these screws were, and that's why. So they've obviously, oh my goodness, look at this. I'll have to get the wheel set out again, in fact. I should be able to do that. Oh, that's going to be a pain. Right, that's okay. So yeah, basically that can happen if you take the wheels out and you don't look at them going back in. That can go in wrong. So we'll have to fix that before I try it, but that's fine. It's not a big job, that. This can go back on. Or shall I? No, I'll tell you what, I won't put that back on because I might have to take that off again. Right, so helping hand, and I'll just fix that minor wheel issue. Honestly, I'm not impressed with this. It's not as bad as some of them, but man, I'm glad Backman don't normally make things as bad as this. I am glad. I love the Hornby Gordon and the Backman Gordon. Yeah, so do I, but again, I reckon the Gordon will have a very similar mechanism to this, the Backman one. I don't believe I've had the Backman Gordon to pieces yet. And if it's anything like this, I'm not looking forward to it. So what I'm doing here is I'm just loosening the wheel set again so that I can lift this centre wheel out and correct the valve gear. As you can see, this here should not be like that. And it's alright, it's not going to do any harm, except unless I try to run it. If I try to run it like that, it wouldn't go well. Okay, got to lift this out. There we are. And now that's better. The only thing is now I've got to faff around with these pickups again and getting them back in place. But I haven't taken the whole piece out. Peace out. Right, there we go, back in. Sorry about that, folks, that was my mistake. Like I say, I've never had this one apart before. So I wasn't aware that that was a pitfall with this one, but yeah, it does happen sometimes. Especially with the, well, I suppose it depends on the type of valve gear, doesn't it? All others today have just been, well, they've had internal valve gear, so this is the first one with outside cylinders. Right, screw those back in place. There we go. Make sure everything's looking good. The wheel set is now rigid again, or reasonably. Are we going to do some Thomas and Friends shunting today? Not today. Well, we might get Spencer to do some shunting speed, if we can get this to work. And who said that? Initial comment says, taking apart this looks like a pain. Yes, you could say that. A slight understatement there. It is definitely a pain. I've not enjoyed this one. I've been on tender hooks this whole time and my fingers are so sweaty I can't pull apart the crocodile clips. Right, please, dear goodness me, let this work, because if I really don't want to take this apart again. Right, a little bit of oil then, if I can find my oiling pen on the valve gear. That looks like it's all together properly, doesn't it? Little oil. Not too much. There we are. Moment of truth. Let's see if this awful thing works. Yeah. Lucky me. Well, that's the one I definitely did not want to take to pieces again. And to Mandalore the Mad, thank you very much for your kind support. Anything anarchistic just to annoy the purists, LMS, crab. With virgin coaches, I like it. I will definitely do that. In fact, I can do that. I'll do that tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. On Sunday. Sunday's stream. If I forget somehow, everybody remind me. But I will try to remember and write that down. Oh, Spencer, you do have a horrible mechanism, bless you. Absolutely horrible. And don't forget, we've got to get the eyes to line up again yet. Oh. What a nice job that is. Yeah, that was me being sarcastic, just in case you weren't aware of that. Quite dirty though, so it's worth cleaning the wheels. Let's clean the insides of them. I've got a feeling that the eyes are just going to slot right in place and they're going to work first time. I've got a feeling. It's not going to happen, but let's hope, let's hope. Got lucky this time, Sam. Oh, no, luck didn't have anything to do with it. Yeah, I got very lucky. It's just, you know, if you make a mistake and something doesn't go back together properly, then that's fine. But if it's because of a design flaw, it's just so annoying. And like that, so the chassis block, for example, being all out of shape, so you've got to make some screws looser than others. That's the kind I'm talking about. Absolute pain in the neck. You know, if I make a mistake and cost myself £100 on a model, then so be it. You know, it's a pain, but so be it. But it's just you don't expect that kind of nonsense. Right, screwing this circuit board back in. Again, I don't know why they've got a circuit board on here. It boggles the mind slightly because it's not DCC ready. Again, it's like we're charging $120 for this. Let's make it worth it. Let's put a circuit board inside. No, it doesn't need one, but well, we'll put it in there anyway. Right, let's get this body back on. So the eyes are slightly to the left, except it will be right. Oh man. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting the eyes to line up relatively in the right place. And then I will drop the chassis in. Oh no, I won't. I've got to lug it in, haven't I, at the back? Oh, that's a joke. Right, let's lower the front part in. Oh, this is not pleasant. You can't even do that because the eye mechanism has to go behind a lip. Right, now I know that, let's take this out and we'll try it again. If I can. As you can see, there's this little lip here, so the eye mechanism's got to go behind that, then you've got to lug the back in, and then you've got to get the eyes lined up. How on earth are you supposed to do that? I wonder if the face will come out. Doesn't look like it. Some of them, the diesels for example, you can get the faces out and that makes it a little bit easier. Oh, I think Spencer's going to be buzz-eyed for the rest of his life if I can't get this right. Right. If I slip and drop this, we've got to start again. Right. Go on. Keep looking at the eyes. He's still, well, he's not buzz-eyed right now. No doubt he's going to be. Oh, this is an absolute pain. It's not going in. Oh no, he's gone buzz-eyed. Man, how do we do this? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to run it until the eyes go all the way in one direction, and then it will line up a bit better. Let's just see if there is a way of getting the face out. Don't think so. If I can get the face off, then I can put the chassis in. Oh, I've got it. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Hang on, let me cue this up. So Spencer's been to the pub. Hang on. You know what's coming. Oh, that's terrifying. There we are. Hi, Spencer. I bet all the kids want to play with you now that you've got a glass eye. There we go. Right, well that makes things somewhat easier. So I can put the body back on. I'm sorry about that, it's taken a turn for the surreal. Let's get the body on. Right. This is like surgery. Who said that? Pubers. Yes, it is like surgery. And I think Spencer has been permanently brain damaged by it, judging by that expression on his face. Mind you, he's always got a slightly worrying expression. Okay. Let's see what he looks like without his face, shall we? This is horrendous. Ah, stuff of nightmares. Okay. I would like to just keep him like this and have those weird mechanical things just roaming side to side. Right, go on then, Spencer. Oh, this is a joke, because his eyes just flop. Look, they're really, really loose. Right, how am I going to do this? So they are slightly to the one side. Ooh, I think I've only gone and done it. I'm not going to glue it on, I'm just going to hope it stays there, because if I ever have to do that again. So that's what he's supposed to look like, children. Just look at that and try and forget what you've just seen. Look at it. Right, how am I going to do this? Tell you what, best thing to do is just get him down onto the track and just try him on there. And you'll have to take my word for it whether the eyes are working, although to be fair, I might just lie and pretend they are even if they're not. And move on, because I'm sick and tired of Spencer now. Oh, hang on, I'll tell you what I have forgot. I forgot his rear pony truck. Come on, Spencer, one more surgery. One more surgery. Is this out of focus? Oh, this camera, it's a pain. Okay. Okay, rear truck, please. Goes on just like that, I guess. Oh no. Right, I'm going to get the bogie, well, the truck in place first and then the screw. Yeah, there we go. Well, at least that's nice to do. At least it sits there where you can put the screw in. Oh, Spencer, I'm not looking forward to this time next year when I've got to do that again. Oh, Spencer. I wish I knew these mechanisms. I ought to really take the mechanisms apart before I make the reviews, because I wouldn't have given him such a good rating if I'd have known. Right, let's see. Come on, please work. Okay, his eyes are working, and I'm not lying. They are working. So, thank my goggly goodness that is working. And it's working very nicely too, actually. Very quiet. See if he'll do a slow speed. Yep, he will. So it might be a pile of junk, but at least it's a pile of junk that works all right. Man, I am glad that's over, I'm not going to lie. Thank goodness for that. Right. I'm not going to make any notes about that in my book because I'll scare myself next time. I'm not likely to forget that in a hurry. 10 minutes later, yeah, I know, right? How sad is evolution, says the LMB channel. Not to worry, boring stuff. Oh, in Halloween. I don't know if that's what you meant, Jackmus, but yes, I think Spencer should feature in my Halloween special without his face. Although, to be honest, his face is pretty darn scary as well. He's got this like crazed, wide-eyed grin which makes him look like a murderer or something. Okay, serviced. Spencer. Right, we've got a Hornby model. Hooray! A bit of quality. Or perhaps not. So it is going to be the BR Blue Tornado. Hooray! Another Pacific. So let me find her. Although, to be honest, this was a bit of a cheaty model because it was supposed to be part of the Railways range, except it was just a railroad model with a few blobs of gold paint here and there. A bit dubious, but at least it runs okay. Although, no, the motor broke in it only this year and I had to scramble and find another motor and put that in there. So, yeah, perhaps not a brilliant design, this one, but it's not too bad. Just flicking through my Hornby section, I've got a lot of Hornby locos, which is why it's taking a while. And there are two Tornadoes that I have from Hornby, but it is the blue one we're looking at today. So, Tornado Blue, it says, easy service, don't worry. Oh, that's nice. And needs more running, I've put. Yes, I guess that's true. Right, Tornado, here you go. It is at least a beautiful livery on this. Wait till you see this. Haven't shown this one in a little while, but it really, really is something else. Come on, Tornado. Ooh, that's a nice blurred shot, isn't it? How nice. Right, well, I'll have to fix that pretty sharpish. Zoom out first. Yeah, I do like this one. It's not got any tender pickups or anything, which is a shame, but yeah, I've got to like it. Right, is that better? Is that in focus? So how does the Super Chat contest work, says Noah. Well, you send a Super Chat for any amount, and it all goes towards the channel, you know, to help it to buy new locos to review and to renovate things that need fixing, all that kind of stuff. It all goes back into the channel. I don't just, you know, buy video games with it or whatever. If you send any amount, you're entered to win the Jinty. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, I'll send it to you if you win. That's going to be announced mid next month, more or less. And if you send £5 or more, you get to have, well, choose a loco to run in one of my live sessions, next of which is going to be on Sunday. So that's how it works, and again, any donations you want to send are very, very much appreciated, and very, very kind of you. So thank you for inquiring, even if you decide not to. Right, so here she is then, absolutely beautiful. Really do like this one. Oops, almost tore off one of her smoke deflectors. Not a good start. I think it's all right though. Right, shall we have a look at the pickups first then? I'll try and get to those first. I'll warn you though, it's not a great one to access. But I'll at least try and get to the pickups. I don't know if I'll get to the bearings. I think this one does have proper bearings in it. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Well, if it's Hornby, it's a safe bet that it's got bearings. Or at least it should be, 14XX. Very sneaky, that. Right, yeah, so that's come off nice and easy. And it looks as though the pickups are wired, but I should be able to just lift them out, which is nice. Insert Michael Rosen saying nice here. Okay, ooh, it's a little bit oily. That's probably my fault, because I have had this one long enough to have serviced it before. So I'm just going to mop up a little bit of that. If actually it's not actually that oily. Just looks it. I think everything's sweating today, including the engines. Right, it's actually looking very, very clean to say I've had it for a few years. Spotlessly clean. Even if I say so myself, I've done quite a good job on this one. Right, clean the pickups. I think the only thing is it did get over-oiled once, which is what I used to do. I used to oil the motors, not realising that it will damage them. Well, it won't damage them, but if you use too much, which sometimes I did, back in my younger modelling days, or before I knew what I was doing, yeah, can bugger things up a little bit. Right, I'm just being careful because I've noticed the back pickups have slotted inside the spokes of the wheels, and if I were to shove those down, they would bend. And if you get a bent pickup on a loco like this, it'll plague you forever. So you don't want that. But the pickups are looking clean. They're all free, so I can put that back in. Did I oil the bearings? You know, I can't remember. Don't think I did. Honestly, what am I like? Again, it's the heat. Always blame the heat. It's not the heat. It's my fault. But okay, that's oiled. There we are. And again, it's not entirely my fault about the over-oiling the motor thing. I mean, you should know about it. You should be careful. But again, I think this is one of them that has the worm gear on the same end of the motor as the brushes, which means if you over-oil the worm, which sometimes you want to, because you want that worm to be well lubricated, because it will wear out if not. The oil does have a tendency to work its way into the motor, and there's not a lot you can do. I think the motor in here is one of the ones that I reconditioned. I think this might be the one out of my P2. So if you remember, the P2 had this terrible, cheap, nasty motor inside. So I took that out and put a 5-pole in, and I reconditioned it. I took it to pieces, cleaned it out. There it is, talk of the devil, and put it in here where it now works. Well, hopefully it does. We'll see in a minute. When Scotsman was an LNER A1, it looked awesome. Yeah, I agree. Right, let's get this apart. So this is quite a pain to get access to the gears on this one. So there's 2 screws. I mean, you won't believe this. Look at this. 2 screws at the back of the motor. Need to get those out, not lose them. Right. So that's step 1. Then the rear motor bracket comes off, or I think it should, or it can stay on the motor. Then the whole thing comes off, this whole big block here. Let me zoom in. And of course I had to do all this when I swapped the motor. I couldn't believe what a faff it was. But again, Hornby, it's a good quality mechanism, so you're forgiven. So there we go. Take these gears out. Even the gears are spotlessly clean on this. I'm really quite impressed. Give these a little bit of a clean. Not that they really need it, but we'll do it. Yep, inside there, like that. A little bit of oil on that gear. I think there's still another gear inside there, but we'll just have to hope it sees the oil. Gears go back in. There we go. And yes, as you can see, there's the contacts, so that's where the brushes are, and the gear, well, the worm is right in front of there. Terrible design, and the P2s like it. Quite a few are like the Black 5 was like it. Not a lot you can do though, is there? So I will just put a bit of oil on the front end of the worm, and I'll run it slowly to start with, so that it doesn't get oil all over the insides of it. There we are. Make sure the wires are all out the way, and then it's all held in again with those 2 screws on the other end. I don't even know how that's supposed to work. So that is just held in place with friction. That's just slotted in there. But it can't move anywhere. Once this rear bracket's screwed in, it can't move anywhere, as you can see. So it's kind of stuck in between this lug and the back plate. It's a bit strange. I don't know who came up with that. It must have been the result of some sort of fever dream from somebody at Hornby. But it works, so I'm not going to complain. And I can actually put some oil on the back of the motor because there's no brushes there. Right. I think that's all. That's all. So let's flip it over. Give it a little oil. What are people saying? Bye everyone. Bye Jack. Have a nice day. Bye bye bye. Right, let's get this done. Let's give it a little bit of oil on the rods and things. Nice gentle oiling. Well, I can see a bit of hair on that one. Or it looks like an eyelash or something. There we are. That's that gone. I'll tell you what I did do last week. Took a day trip to Blackpool and tried out their new roller coaster at the Pleasure Beach. It's called Icon. I tell you, it's one of the best roller coasters I think I've ever been on. Absolutely fantastic. I don't know, has anybody been and tried it yet? It really is fantastic. It's got a double launch, so if you're not familiar with Blackpool, you know Rita at Alton Towers? It's got a launch on it. Well, this works, Icon works like that, except it's got 2 launchers, which is double the fun. Except it's not quite got the same acceleration that Rita has. I think this is a magnetic launch system, so it starts off quite gentle, which is quite nice actually, because I don't really like the surprise launch on Rita. But with Icon, it starts off really slowly accelerating, but then, you know, once you've hit 10 miles an hour, it really ramps up, and you feel it like more than you do on Rita. It really is an astonishingly good ride. Like, seriously good. I mean, I'm a bit of a critic when it comes to amusement park rides, but man, that was good. And I haven't tried the Wicker Man yet at Alton Towers. I'm going there at some point over the next couple of months. But at the moment, Blackpool's going to take some beating. A Billington E2 is better than anything Thompson made. Man. Afternoon all, what have I missed, says the Ugly Duck Man? Well, not too much, not too much. You've missed Spencer. I don't think you'll mind missing Spencer, because he was an absolute nightmare to service. So as you can see, I'm actually now at, that's only 5 volts, and as you can see it's running way faster than the Bachmann locos were. And that's quite common. The Hornby locos do tend to run quite a lot faster than the Bachmann ones. But Hornby use 5-pole motors rather than Bachmann's cheapy 3-poles, so you can get those slower speeds out of them despite the gearing not being quite as good. It means that they've got a better range of speed, basically. And that's generally speaking, that's not always true. And sometimes that's true for Hornby and not for Bachmann, and sometimes it's true for Bachmann and not for Hornby. It does vary, but generally I think that's the case. The last roller coaster I went on was Colossus at Thorpe Park many years ago now. Oh, what a ride that is. Colossus, that's the one that has, before the Smiler, it had the most inversions. Is that the one that goes upside down loads of times? And it's got that horrible sort of inline twist, which has about 3 inversions on it. It absolutely, if you're a man, you'll have to read into this, if you're a man, it's a lot worse than if you're a woman. It gets you right where it hurts. I think that's Colossus. I might be thinking of something else. You have to let me know. I think I've only been to Thorpe Park twice. It was very, very good. Can't remember what my favourite ride there was. I didn't get to go on that that launched one though. That wasn't open the day I went. That one that's a bit like King Dakar, but smaller. It's like a hot rod or something. That did look good. I was gutted not to get on that. Benjamin says Wicker Man is amazing. Yes, so I've heard. I mean, it's quite strange if you think, because Blackpool Pleasure Beach is the place for all the wooden roller coasters, and Blackpool is known for its steel coasters. No, Alton Towers, sorry, is known for its steel coasters. But this time we've got a woody going into Alton Towers and a steel going into Blackpool, which is great, because Alton Towers has always needed a woody. So yeah, I can't wait to try it. It looks absolutely fantastic. Right, the Tornado works, everybody, hooray. So let's just try and get the body back on. Seem to remember this body being a bit of a pain to get on. What train is that? It's an A1 Tornado. Well, it's the A1 Tornado. The only A1 in existence. Unless you consider the Flying Scotsman to be an A1, but she's not. This is the peppercorn design, of course. Right, this body has not gone on properly, so I'm going to start again with it. Let's lift these wires out of the way. There we go, it's gone on properly now, but that wire is still in the way. Get out the way, Mr. Wire. There we are. I can now honestly say I've conversed with a wire. The launch coaster is called Stealth. Ah, it's more scary going up than going down. Yeah, I can imagine that. I've never been on a ride like that. Not Stealth anyway. That is the one, right, that goes, it launches you right up, then you go over the top and come back down. It was just closed the day I went. I was gutted. It looked brilliant though. The last roller coaster I rode was the Georgia Scorcher at Six Flags. It's got the same problem if you're a guy. I would love to see the Six Flags. Which one is it at Six Flags that used to be a wooden coaster? It was a bit like the Grand National, where you'd have 2 tracks and you can race on them. There's 2 tracks. Is it? I think that might be called Colossus as well. I haven't put this body on properly, bear with me. Yeah, it might be called Colossus, or that might be the orange one. I can't remember. I'm not very good with my American coasters. But yeah, recently they've revamped it, right, and put steel sections in with inversions and things. Absolutely astonishingly good idea. Yeah, I'd love to see the Six Flags parks one day. The Cyclone, which one's that? It rings a bell. Right, this body is proving to be a bit of a pain. Okay, it's on. There we go. Oh, I've pulled the front coupling hook off. Actually though, that's not bad because I can now push it out of the way. Colossus is at Magic Mountain. Yeah, I think Magic Mountain has got the best of the coasters, I would say. Just looking at them. I'd also quite like to see Dollywood as well. I don't know if anyone's been to Dollywood. Right, that front coupling is now back on. Let's try this then. Let's take this down to the front and see if it works. I think it should do, but we'll just have to double check. There we go. The Smiler is the best roller coaster in the world. Yeah, the Smiler is pretty good, but I think it lost some of its street cred when it crashed and people lost legs. I think that is a bit of a downer on it. But yeah, I would agree. I think that's my favourite ride at Alton Towers. Yep, this works. That's good. Yeah, the Smiler is good, but I don't know. When it first opened in its first year, it was a lot smoother than it is now. It seems to have developed a bit of a rough touch over recent years, which I don't enjoy quite so much. I felt like I'd just been in a hurricane last time I went on it, but no, it's still good. It's still worth going on. But yeah, you can't be weak-hearted, can you, going on that one? It does feel like you're in an earthquake or something even worse. Right, so Tornado's working just fine. Where's my pen? Blimey, the first time I serviced her was in August 2014, so yeah, she looks pretty good actually, doesn't she, to say she's been around for that long. So it's August 18 and she'll get another one at August 19. That's a tick. Okay, and we're on to the last loco of the day, which again is not a lot of fun to service, but it should be better than Spencer. It is A4 Mallard in the green. So that is my railroad Mallard. There we go. Couldn't have Hornby without a little bit of pain, says Mayo. Yes, that is very, very true. How did we start talking about coasters, said Joey. Oh, I was talking about how I went to Blackpool at the weekend to try out their new coaster. If you can go to Blackpool Pleasure Beach, it's absolutely worth it just for that ride. I mean, my goodness, it is good. And it's considerably cheaper to go in the Pleasure Beach than it is to go to Alton Towers, and actually I think the rides at Blackpool are better. Bit of a controversial opinion, I think, but come on, focus, camera. But yeah, I would say that that's true. It still hasn't focused, has it? Or has it? No, it hasn't, so I'll fix that. But for now, let me grab Mallard and we'll get her sorted. This is another DCC fitted loco, but the decoder's in the loco, so I can just take it off when I take out the body, so that's good. Whew. Right, here it is. I will get the focus sorted, don't worry. Let me zoom in a bit first. Yeah, this camera's not great on the focus, but it has got an HDMI out, which works, so. Okay, there we go, we've got it. Focus, manual, there we go, it's locked in. What is it in the UK? It says Nice. I'm not sure. Oakland? Where Sam is? What is it? What temperature, maybe? Well, I don't know. I should actually get a thermometer up here. That would be good. What am I doing here? Yeah, take this out. but it's got to be in the 30s in this room, because it's in the loft. I'm in the attic, top floor of the house, and it really is scorching hot up here today. But this is my last loco of the day. Oh, hang on, I forgot something. I need to take off this speed measuring device. So for that I need a 2.5mm nut spinner. There it is, and you can just very carefully unscrew that. It's a bit naughty of me to forget that actually, but it's alright. Some of my A4s don't have these, Spencer didn't. Thank goodness, can you imagine? So there we go, and just for testing purposes I'm going to screw that back on. And someone will have to remind me not to forget it when I come to finish this off. Screw that back on. Right, so now the body should come out. There we are. Okay, this was my first ever Hornby Pacific, I think. Cool, so I'm just trying to think what's the best way to start this. I'm going to go ahead and try and access the pickups, so let's hold this in place. Take off this base plate. It should be very similar to the other locos I've done today. It should be fairly similar to Tornado actually. Let's just get this focused in on you, Mr. A4, there we are. Well actually, today has gone without incident, hasn't it? Well, so far, let's not say that just yet. Spencer was a pain. I suppose the J11 was a bit of a pain, but it wasn't that bad in the end. So yeah, reasonably successful. I've not had any major sort of impossibly difficult issues to contend with today, which is good. I don't know if I can actually take the pickups out on this one. They may be wired directly, but we'll try. Yeah, they are. I think they are wired directly, which means I'm going to have to unleash the motor. Yeah. Okay, well I can do that, I've got time. So I'm going to put one of these screws back in just so that it doesn't all fall to bits. In fact, I should put it in the middle. There's a better idea. Just so the wheels don't drop out while I'm doing this. And I will loosen off the motor. How's best to do this? Because we've basically got to get, hang on a sec. Yeah, I think I will have to remove the motor. And then what you can do is you can shove the wires through the chassis. Or in fact you could probably just pull on them if you're very careful. You can pull on the wires and get that base pickup plate up out the way. So if I pull the motor out, there we are. Put this somewhere safe, don't want to lose that. Take the gears off as well because they'll just drop out otherwise. So that's one. I think that one comes out as well. Where's my weird? Look at these for weird tweezers. Took me ages to find some like that. Not really the perfect thing for the job, but they have done it. And now, as you can see, these are the wires that we need to shove through. So if I flick that back upside down again, I say shove through, I should just be able to very gently tug on them and they should come through. But I just seem to remember I haven't done this for a while on this A4, so I think it's time to, just so I can look at the axles and make sure they're not looking dirty or anything like that. Oh, by the way, if you want to follow me on Twitch, you can do, Sam's Trains. If you like video games, follow me on Twitch. I haven't actually had much time for it this past couple of weeks, it's been very hectic, but I do plan to do a bit more over there. So if you look me up on Twitch, if you haven't got a Twitch account already, that's fine. Yeah, I do some live video games. I did Transport Tycoon. No, I didn't. I did Transport Fever. And a few other good ones like that. So, yep, if you want to see me play anything like that, hit me up on Twitch. And also the Sam's Trains gaming channel is also going to have them posted too. So, yep. Okay, there we go. As you can see, all of the bearings have all fallen out of place, but that's okay. So now I'm going to find my tweezers, because, I mean my proper tweezers, not those bizarre mutant tweezers. Let me get a little spray of this. It's my spray bottle. It's just got cold water in it. I'll spray it in my face. Keeps me cool. And there we go. just pick out some of these hairs. Like I say, because it's such a pain to access the axles, I don't always do it every time, but as you can see, it looks like there's a lot of grime on this one, so I'm actually glad I've done this. So let's mop up some of all this rubbish. Oh, we've got something there. There's a washer there. I don't know where that's come from. Oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know where that's come from. It looks like some kind of insulator. Hopefully that isn't crucial. I'm not going to put it back on. Right, there we are. Let's clean up the axles. Oh, I'll tell you what though, they've gotten rid of the Magic Mouse at Blackpool. Is it the Mighty Mouse? Magic Mouse? I never know. Yeah, it's just completely gone. They never announced that they were getting rid of it. It's just, they've just dismantled it. I mean, it wasn't a pleasurable ride. I don't know if anyone's been on it, but yeah, not what you call pleasurable, but a classic nonetheless. It's a shame. Right, so they're looking good. Sam Strange, do you recommend the Black 5 locomotive? Yeah, I can recommend the Hornby Black 5. The Railroad one is pretty good. I haven't actually ever owned the Railways version, which I assume is an updated version. It probably runs on a different chassis. But I have seen them, and they do seem to run well, and they seem to look good. As for what the quality's like, I don't know, because I've never owned one, and obviously you can't dismantle other people's models, or at least I wouldn't want to. Man, just look at that though. Look at that. Oh, if I don't... I mean, that just... it moves like it's on ice. I mean, it literally just takes nothing to move that. And that's exactly what you want. None of those Bachmann locos will do that, unless they've got proper bearings in them. And I haven't oiled it. I haven't even oiled it. Let's see what happens if I oil it. Right. Oh, it really is as good as it gets. That is absolutely astonishingly good. Right, enough of that. We will appreciate Hornby at another time, but now I've got to clean the pickups and get done because I'm too hot. Much too hot. The Black 5 is my favourite, says RDHNLB. What a nice name to say that is. Yeah, the Black 5s are a lot of people's favourites. They really were classics, weren't they? Clean the pickups. And actually, because I haven't had this out for a while, I'm going to give it a bit of paintbrush treatment. Being careful. Oops, I said being careful and then I dropped it. Okay, that looks good. Now, the only slight awkwardness now is getting this lowered back in. So I've got to pull it through from underneath and, of course, not dislodge the wheels, which means you can't hold it by the wheels. There we are. Just pull it through. And of course, again, you've got to be careful because all these wires are soldered on, and if you pull them too much, they're going to come off. And even though the Hornby mechanism on this one is brilliant, Hornby soldering never was, and you've got to watch it. Well, I think that's solder in general, because in industry they can't use solder with lead in it. And whatever people say, solder with lead is better than leadless. Yes, it's not good for your health, I guess, but that's only if you eat it. I mean, does anybody eat solder? Do you see people? I don't know, does that happen in China where these things are manufactured? Do they go out and have a solder snack? Just consume a roll of solder? I don't know, it is strange. And I suppose also if you put your fingers in your mouth, that will do it as well. But just remember to wash your hands afterwards and don't eat it. What's wrong with it, you know? If it works better, it works better. You just get better joints. Right, clean these bogey wheels, then I can forget about them. People saying, think of an electric tram and a coach. Worse than a third class coach is bad. Hey, have heard of immersive railroading Minecraft? No, not heard of that. Be careful, drops thingamajig. Yeah, I know. I distracted myself advising, I don't know who I was advising, but I was giving advice to be careful. And in doing so, I dropped the thing I was supposed to be careful with. Yeah, I'm going to admit, that wasn't my most professional moment. But never mind. Right, this is a bit of a mess right now. I don't really like this. The motor's balanced here, the decoder's balanced there. Can't do a lot about it, unfortunately. So I'm just cleaning all that out. Glad I did, because it's quite dirty. Let's clean this gear. We'll call it Richard. Oops. I wasn't even conscious that I'd just made a really, really bad joke there. I apologise. Right, so that Richard goes back in. There he goes. Actually, the motor's fallen down there now, which is good. It's a bit more out of the way. Let's clean up this other gear. I can't think of any other funny names for gears, I'm afraid, so we'll not give this one a name. Give that a bit of a clean. It's clean already, actually. Spotless. Pop that in. Yeah, that all looks good. Let's give the motor a little bit of oil. Again, look, the brushes here are on the other end, so you can oil this end and not worry. That's what I like. So that goes, I think it goes the other way, yeah. Like that. There we are. I think that's in right, yeah, that looks good. Now we put this on, the cover. Again, all of the Hornby locos have covers over the gears. I think that's the one thing. I mean, it is true that there are problems with Hornby quality from time to time. But people who claim that Hornby models are just poor quality are incorrect. Because they are designed with the best will in the world. I mean, this mechanism on this A4 is so high quality. Full bearings, 5-pole motor, all-wheel pickups apart from the bogies and trucks, which is acceptable. Oh, it really are. They're just fantastic, the A4s. Thoroughly brilliant. Right, but obviously it's the quality control that the problems start with. But mechanically, Hornby are normally sound. I know people have had motor trouble with Hornby, and I have too, I guess, but not often enough for it to be a problem. Right, I'm just trying to very carefully ease this decoder socket out, or the plug. Right, get that out of the way, and now I can power the motor directly, and not the decoder, because obviously if you put power into the decoder motor end, I don't think it will end well, put it that way. Right, final straight, everybody, final straight. Let's power the motor, and let's hope the darn thing works. But knowing Hornby, it will. It's just knowing me that could be the trouble. Right, just having a bit of trouble getting this crocodile leader onto the other motor terminal. I've got it, I've got it. Okay, bit of oil, let's just make sure it works actually. Oh yes. Bit of oil on the rods and things then. Here we are. I would make a joke about Rod Stewart, if we're on the subject of rods. But of course Rod Stewart is a massive railway enthusiast. And I probably shouldn't offend him, so no Rod Stewart jokes from me. Yeah, I read somewhere that he, even if he's on tour, I don't know if this is true, it doesn't sound like it's going to be true, but apparently it is, he'll take a layout with him and he'll book an extra hotel room and have a layout with him all the time on tour. To me that sounds like it can't possibly be true, but who knows? When you're passionate about railways, crazy things happen. I mean, look at my loft. Right, well it works, and can you hear anything from this if I put the mic right close? I can't hear anything from it. It's silent, absolutely silent. And this is a railroad model. It cost me 100 quid DCC fitted, so £15 for the decoder straight away. And this has been thrashed, this has been through the mill. This was, like I say, it was the first Pacific I got. I ran it on DC for the first year of its life on a really old crusty controller. How the decoder didn't blow up, I don't know. But it didn't. And these days I run it on DCC and it's just so good. It just is so good. Never had to replace the motor, never had to rewire it. I think I did have to resolder the connections to the coupling, the tender coupling, but that's it. Apart from that, service every year or every 6 months, and it's just been spot on. I think if I had to place a bet on which loco would still be running in 50 years, it would have to be this one. I'm not saying it will be, but I think this is the most likely one. So good. Okay. Sammy doesn't take a layout, but he does work on models and structures while he's on tour, as per this article. Ah, okay, that must be it then. That sounds more feasible than taking a layout. Yeah, that sounds about right. Bless him. Apparently he's got, at his home or something, he's got like a massive wonderland. A bit like, I guess, that place in Hamburg, but maybe not quite as big. But yeah, apparently he's got a monster layout. I did see that online. So I know that is true. Right, this is going to be fun actually. I'm going to struggle here to get the decoder socket plugged back in. Oh, it's just a mess of wires and I don't really want to trap any wires underneath it. But, can't remember which way it went in either. Right. Funny enough, I think this is the awkwardest part of this model. Right, I've got it in. It is in. Okay. Getting the body back on will also be fun, no doubt. Hold those wires in place. Yeah, that looks good. Right, make sure all the wires are out the way and let's grab the body and put it back on. Samuel does vlogs. William Stanier's LMS Duchess is my favourite locomotive class and the A4 is his second. Oh, good choice. Yeah, the Duchesses are just something else, aren't they? Right, so this little speedometer thing, I think it's a speedometer, needs to be out the way. The only problem is, because this is DCC fitted and the decoder goes in the loco, there are a lot of wires in the way and it can make body replacement a little bit tricky. Having said that, I think, I won't say that for sure, but I think I've just got it on spot on first time. Oh, I have. Excellent. Right, now we've just got to, this is fiddly by the way, this is going to take a few minutes, to get this thing back on here. So I'm going to zoom in. And yes, I'll correct the focus because I know it looks like a dog's dinner. Right. Focus. Is that better? It's not brilliant, is it? But I think you'll get the picture anyway. So we take off the crank pin first. I think actually it's in an awkward position, isn't it? Am I going to actually be able to do this? Right, that's the crank pin out of the way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. It's in an awkward position. I might have to get the wheels to turn. Oh, it might be alright. Oh, I think we'll just about get away with that. Maybe, maybe. Oh, I don't like doing this. Right, the crank pin is threaded. Now I've just got to sit it. Now it sits so that it points towards the centre of the wheel. So it sits like that. Screw it back on, hope for the best. Good and tight. Or gesundheit. Right, that works. Woo! Man, I'm glad I've finished that. Right, let's try this. Well, let's take this to the track. Focus. Let's see, and then what I will do briefly is grab the tender as well, because it does have tender pickups. I won't fiddle around with the tender for ages, because I want to go downstairs now and, I don't know, do anything but be in this loft. But we've got to finish the job first, so let's make sure this works. It never hasn't. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, that's because it's DCC fitted, they do tend to run, but if I'm careful on the controller I can get her going a bit slowly. Such a good runner, can you believe it? I've had her for 8 years, I bet, perhaps 7, and she still runs as though she's absolutely brand new. It is astonishing. If you haven't got a Hornby A4, get one, because they really are good. The later ones, the ones they produce these days, the railroad ones, not quite as good quality as the one you've got there, but they're still very good. I don't know if they've got tender pickups these days, but it's not essential. But it is handy, it is nice if they've got them. Right, tender, not much to do on the tender. In fact, I'll do the old short circuit test just to make sure they're working, and then we'll leave it at that. Anybody want me to do this again tomorrow? Is anybody going to be around? I'll probably be doing it in the morning tomorrow before it gets hot, but I had stuff to do this morning, which is why I didn't today. But if you want me to do some more, I will be servicing tomorrow morning, so If you want me to bang a live stream on while I do it, I absolutely will do. If you promise to come and watch it though, because I'll feel a bit of a twit if I'm sat here on my own. But most people do. I mean, people are kind. My favourite diesel is the Class 68, says Evanswood Central in capital letters. Wow, I've never seen so much passion for the Class 68 before. So, even though it's not my favourite, I have to take my hat off to you for being so passionate about it. Well done. Very inspirational from me, by me. I'll be around tomorrow, says Railway Productions 2210. No, I sleep in, says George Petty. Well, you can watch it from your bed if you must. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to, you can. I watch stuff in bed sometimes. Sounds good to me, says Martin. Yes, I'm around. GWR will. All right, I think you've persuaded me. It was easy, but yeah, I'll probably leave all this stream stuff set up then, so I'll come up first thing in the morning. It won't be dead early, don't get me wrong. I'm not coming up at 6 o'clock, but maybe, I don't know, perhaps 9, 10. Can't remember. What time do I normally do it? Probably 10. Right, problem. I can't seem to get anything out of this. Can't even tell which side is supposed to be picking up. What I'm doing is I'm looking at my multimeter, the power supply, and if the needle drops to 0 volts, that means it's got a short circuit. Ah, right, I see. So that's working. This side's working. This side is not. Right, so we're going to have to take the tender body off and find out why the hell not. So there are 2 screws under here, I believe. Oh, this is a pain. I thought I'd finished. But I'll be pleased with myself if I can fix this. Come on. I think I've got that screw. I can't tell. Oh yeah, I did. Right. I'm just conscious that I didn't actually get the screw out. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's going to be fun getting those back in. So look, I mean, can you believe this? This is crazy. Looks like the ring-filled motor, right? They just literally don't put the motor in there anymore. It's got everything there, all the gears, well, not the gears, but the places where the gears go. It's all there. It's just they stripped the motor out, left this in place as a bit of a weight, and then the loco just had the upgrade. Right, well, the wire's not broken. But it's supposed to be live to the chassis. That's weird. Again, it doesn't go direct. For some reason, the pickups go to the chassis, and then the chassis here goes to this wire, which goes to the drawbar. I mean, no wonder it doesn't work. It's ridiculous. Yeah, no wonder it doesn't work. Oh, we've got a bit there. So the chassis is actually live, that's good. So it looks as though then we've got trouble getting the pickups. Let's try that then. Let's try and touch it straight to the pickup. And it's not important because the loco runs so well. Yeah. So the pickup isn't making contact with the chassis. And I'm going to go ahead and say I don't know what to do about that. Except I've just had an idea. Right, I've had an idea. Bear with me, this is going to be a 5-minute job at the most, and then I'll sign off for the day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to solder it direct. Ooh. So just there above that centre wheel, I'm going to put a bit of solder there. Let me zoom in. It's focused quite well, hasn't it? Yeah. So just there, can you see, it's almost as though they want me to do this. Look, there's a little thing just perfect for solder, and then I can solder it straight. I can go over here with a wire and go straight to the drawbar there. I think that will work. So while the soldering line's warming up, I need to find a sensibly lengthed piece of wire. And I just tend to have bits of wire hanging around, so I will look for one. I've got a bag full somewhere. Trouble is, when I'm streaming, I just sort of shove stuff out of the way so that I can set the cameras up. Trouble is, if I need to find something in a hurry, I've got it. It's my bag of elastic bands and wires. Hopefully one will be long enough. It's not got to go a long way. Right, I've selected a blue wire because it matches the BR green livery so well. Is that going to be long enough? Yep, it will be. It'll be fine. Right, so I need pliers. I'm going to strip the ends. Oh, and I need to find my wire stripper. Oh, do you know, this is going to take a while. I've got to find all the equipment now. Let's have another spray of my water bottle thing. Oh, that's nice. Right. Trouble is, it used to be an air freshener, so even though I've washed it out, it still has this smell of flowers to it. So it makes me smell like a flower. Not a smell that necessarily suits me, I don't think, but I'll take it with it being so hot. Right. Enough talking about flowers. This is a man's channel. Although not necessarily. If there are any women watching, you're very, very welcome. Right. Strip the ends off. Not too much because we haven't got much length to play with. There we go. Grab a bit of solder. Can you see this? Oh yes, you can. That's actually nicely framed for once. There you go. I do think about you. How long has the stream been going? Oh, I don't know. What do you reckon? It's been about 2 hours. I started up just before 1:30. I've enjoyed it. I do like streaming. I mean, I don't really like streaming in this heat, but I'll put up with it. Right. So I'm just tinning the wires here so that they will flow nicely when it comes to it. And that one's a little bit long, so I'm going to trim that so that it's a bit shorter. Snips, there they are. Oh, it's a bit hot. I'll live with it. Okay, and then we'll tin up the place where we need it to be. Try not to melt the wheel that's right next to it. I'm not trying to take that wheel out though, because that will be a pain. All this just so that I can have an extra couple of pickups on one side. But it's worth it. Can't be doing with pickups that don't work. Come on. Once it flows, it'll be alright. Okay, there we go. A little bit on here. Try not to melt the bodywork. There we are, that was easy. Okay. This is going to be fun. I don't know if you see this alright, hopefully. Solder that to there. That's a nice joint, pleased with that. And I'll just have to pop that over there. Ooh, this is awkward. I'm going directly to the drawbar. Okay, that won't go over the top, but I'll just bunch it there. Hopefully the body will still go on. Right. Let's try the short circuit test again then. So, one on the wheel, and one on there, and it is now working. So now we have full tender pickups again. Hooray! Hooray! Now we've got to put the tender body back on. Hooray! Okay, that's not hooray. Focus. Come on, for the last time today. Focus. There we go. Right. Where's the tender body? Don't tell me I've lost that. Right. So that sits over on the front, I believe. Oh, no. Yeah, that was right. Oh, that blue wire needs to disappear. I definitely don't want the blue wire sticking out. I mean, I'm proud of my soldering work, but I don't want it on display for the world to see. Okay, in we go. I'll use this screwdriver again because it's got a decent magnet to it. And then it's time to screw this back in. Strange this, I seem to remember almost breaking this tender the first time I took it apart. Oh no, it wasn't this one, it was an A3 tender. I had no idea how to get it apart, and then I just happened to spot that there were 2 screws at the back. Yep, that's gone in. Let's tighten them up. Yeah, it's very sneaky placement of screws. Right down inside the body. Strange. Right, there we go. Right, let's take this down onto the track then, and we'll do a little test with it. And I'll do the same old test I always do. which is where you stick the tender on and then you power it up and lift the loco wheels off the track, leaving the tender ones on. And if the loco keeps moving, then of course you know that the tender pickups are working. Although actually the drawbar between loco and tender on this has seen better days. It's a bit bent up and nasty looking, so what I might do is hardwire them together. That's not a job for today, but I might do that one day. Right, and of course because the drawbar is made of metal, you can just solder something big to the end of it. It's a bit botchy, but if you do that then they're just coupled together permanently. Right, so it works. Now all I do is lift the loco up very slightly just so none of its wheels are touching, and nothing. Oh no, I got it. Yeah, it is working. Okay. Well, that's good enough for me, put it that way. Right, let's put that back. I'll give it a tick in my book, and if anyone wants a final shout out before I leave, do let me know, and I'll do that right now. I'm saying that now because it takes 30 seconds for it to come through, so I'm going to come and start saying my goodbyes. I'm just popping the A4 back onto her shelf. There you are, Mallard. Hope you enjoyed that. It was a good service. Let me go and give it a tick on it in its book, and I'm going to go downstairs, get some nice cold water, and play some Dreamcraft. I've been playing a lot of that recently. Stuart Ashen played it on his Twitch stream, and yeah, I decided I was going to play it as well, and it's very good. I'm enjoying it. It's not really my thing, to be honest, but no, it's good. I've sunk quite some hours into it while it's been hot. Right, well, thank you all for watching, folks. Has anybody been here for the whole time? If you have, you're doing very, very well. Shout out please Sam Blackbird Jr. says shout out please. The LMB channel shout out. RDHNLB, I think I've already shouted you out, but there's another one. You should do vlogs sometimes, bro, that'd be awesome. Well, I do kind of do vlogs when I go to railways, but I'm not filming myself going to the shop or anything like that. Thanks for the stream today, says Mark. Hope you have a fantastic day. Yeah, you too. Killgame354, shout out. Can I have a shout out? And a water, please, says George Petty. Shouldn't really do this, but there you go. There's some water for you. Sam, I got my Hornby Q1. That's great. Have a good one, mate, says Martin Hall. You too. I'm soaking wet, and I don't think it's because of my water thing. It is just the sweat. I'll get a thermometer at some point, and then I can prove how hot it is. The LMB channel, yeah, did that one. Shout out to whoever comments just below me. So that's RWS Baden. Sam, enjoy the rest of your day and try to stay cool. Yes, I will. I'll get some fans on me downstairs. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft over the week, done so much building, says Mark. Yes, I noticed that they've released a new sort of underwater pack with dolphins and things, so I might have to build an aquarium one day. That would be nice. Has anyone else got suggestions for extremely anarchistic trains to run? Oh yes. Let me know, Mandalore the Mad. If not, I will think of something. I'm normally quite good at that. Have a great day, John Clack. I came back, says Richard. Oh, you just missed it. I'm about to go. Parker Osgood says hi, and Tom McAdams says, take care, Sam. Well, you take care too. All right, thanks, everybody. This has gone on for quite long enough, so I will see you soon. All right, cheers, everybody.